Alright, let's get one thing straight before we dive in. We're heading into some deep, dark, and mysterious waters today. The stories we're about to explore are just that. Stories, theories, legends. They live on the very edge of what we can prove, in the shadows just beyond the reach of our scientific instruments. These accounts come from pilots, sailors, eyewitnesses who swear by what they saw, but they haven't been verified by mainstream science. So I want you to approach this with an open mind, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a thirst for adventure. We're not here to find concrete answers. We're here to ask the big questions. The Bermuda Triangle is a place where the line between fact and folklore gets blurred. It's a place where the unexplained isn't just a possibility, it's a reputation. So, where exactly is this place that has haunted our collective imagination for so long? The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, isn't an official name you'll find on any world map. It's a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. Its corners are generally accepted to be Miami, Florida, San Juan, Puerto Rico, the island of Bermuda. Connect those 3 points, and you create a vast, ominous shape covering about 500,000 square miles of open water. This is one of the most heavily trafficked areas in the world for both ships and aircraft. For centuries, this stretch of ocean has been a highway for explorers, merchants, and tourists. But it's also earned a sinister reputation. The legends say that within this triangle, ships and planes have vanished without a trace. We're not talking about simple engine trouble or bad weather. We're talking about vessels disappearing from radar screens in broad daylight, under clear skies. They vanish without sending a single distress call. Of all the tales that swirl around the Bermuda Triangle, none is more famous or more haunting than the disappearance of Flight 19. It's the story that truly cemented the Triangle's terrifying legacy. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine training mission. It was a clear day. The crew consisted of 14 experienced airmen, led by a seasoned instructor, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. Their flight plan was simple: fly east, conduct bombing runs, then turn back for home. They were never seen again. A few hours into the flight, something went terribly wrong. Radio operators on shore picked up a disturbing transmission from Lieutenant Taylor. He sounded confused, disoriented. "Both my compasses are out. I am trying to find Fort Lauderdale. I am sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down." The problem was, navigational data showed they couldn't possibly be over the Florida Keys. The control tower tried to guide them back, but Taylor's voice grew more frantic. He seemed convinced the ocean didn't look right, and that he was utterly lost. The radio chatter between the pilots of Flight 19 became increasingly desperate. One pilot was heard saying, "Everything is wrong." Long before planes started disappearing, the Bermuda Triangle was earning its reputation from the strange fates of ships that sailed its waters. These are the stories of ghost ships, vessels found adrift and completely deserted, with no sign of their crew and no indication of what happened. One of the most famous examples is the Mary Celeste, though its story is often mistakenly placed inside the triangle. A more fitting legend is that of the Carroll A. Deering, a 5-masted schooner found wrecked and abandoned off the coast of North Carolina in 1921, on the very edge of the triangle. The Deering was returning from a trip to South America when it was last sighted. A few days later, it was found hard aground on Diamond Shoals, a notorious graveyard of ships. When the Coast Guard finally managed to board the vessel, they found a chilling scene. The ship was eerily empty. The crew's personal belongings, the ship's logbook, and the navigational equipment were all gone. The lifeboats were also missing. The only signs of life on board were 2 cats. A meal had been prepared in the galley, but was left uneaten. It was as if the 11-man crew had vanished into thin air. Another classic tale is that of the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier ship that disappeared in March 1918. So, what could be causing pilots and sailors to become so hopelessly lost? One of the most persistent scientific theories about the Bermuda Triangle involves Earth's magnetic field. Compasses rely on this field to point north. Old-fashioned compasses, electronic compasses. But what if, in this specific part of the world, that field was unreliable? What if it twisted? What if it turned? What if it simply disappeared? Many pilots who have flown through the triangle have reported bizarre behavior from their instruments. They call it electronic fog, a strange grayish-white haze that seems to engulf their plane, while all their electronic equipment goes haywire. The Bermuda Triangle is one of only two places on Earth where true north and magnetic north line up. True north is the geographic North Pole, the fixed point on top of the globe. Magnetic north is the direction a compass needle points, a shifting location in the Canadian Arctic. Normally, pilots have to adjust their compasses to account for the difference, declination. But in the triangle, this isn't always necessary. Some theorize an agonic line where variation is zero, which could create confusion if a ship or plane drifts off course. Could there be unusually strong or erratic magnetic fields on the ocean floor in this region? Some geologists believe the triangle's crust may be thinner. While magnetic fields might explain navigational confusion, they don't explain how a massive cargo ship can be snapped in half and vanish in minutes. For that, we turn to another powerful and terrifying natural phenomenon: rogue waves. For centuries, sailors told tales of holes in the sea and walls of water that would rise up out of a calm ocean and swallow ships whole. Scientists and maritime experts dismiss these as exaggerated sea stories. But now, we know they are very, very real. A rogue wave isn't just a big wave, it's a monster. A rogue wave, also known as a freak wave, is a wave that is more than twice the size of the surrounding waves. They can come from any direction, often appearing out of nowhere against the prevailing wind and sea conditions. Imagine a 10-story building made of water, moving at incredible speed. That's the kind of force we're talking about. These waves are formed when multiple wave patterns overlap and combine their energy, creating a single, gargantuan wave with unimaginable, destructive power. The Bermuda Triangle is located in a part of the Atlantic where storms from different directions can converge. You have the powerful currents of the Gulf Stream colliding with weather systems moving down from North America and up from the Caribbean. Now we're going to take a turn into the truly bizarre. Forget rogue waves and magnetic fields. What if something far stranger is happening in the skies over the Bermuda Triangle? What if time itself becomes warped? This is the claim made by pilot Bruce Gernon. On December 4th, 1970, Gernon, his father, a business associate, took off in his Beechcraft Bonanza from Andros Island in the Bahamas, heading for Miami. Shortly after takeoff, Gernon noticed a strange lens-shaped cloud forming directly in front of him. As he flew closer, it began to expand, forming a vast tunnel. He had no choice but to fly into it. Inside, he said, the sky turned a yellowish gray, and he was surrounded by strange, swirling lines that he couldn't identify. His electronic instruments went haywire, and his magnetic compass spun aimlessly. He described a feeling of weightlessness, an eerie silence, and an intense electrical sensation in the air. He was flying blind through a vortex that seemed to defy the laws of physics. When explanations on our own planet fail us, it's human nature to look to the stars. And for many, the Bermuda Triangle is not a terrestrial mystery at all. It's an extraterrestrial one. This theory proposes that the disappearances are the work of aliens. Why would they be interested in this particular patch of ocean? Proponents suggest it could be a hunting ground, a place where they abduct humans and their vessels for study. Or perhaps there is an underwater alien base hidden deep beneath the waves. The disappearances could be the result of ships and planes getting too close. This idea might sound like pure science fiction, but it's fueled by numerous reports of UFOs, now called Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, UAPs, in the region. For decades, pilots have reported strange lights in the sky. Sailors have reported strange lights under the water. These aren't just distant specks, fast-moving orbs, silent triangular craft. Let's journey from the stars back down to the bottom of the sea, but this time, let's go back in time. Another one of the most romantic and intriguing theories about the Bermuda Triangle connects it to the legendary lost city of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis was first told by the Greek philosopher Plato. He described a powerful and advanced civilization that was destroyed in a single day and night of misfortune, sinking beneath the waves. For centuries, explorers have searched for this sunken kingdom. What if it's been hiding in the Bermuda Triangle all along? The psychic Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, made a series of predictions in the 1930s and 40s. He claimed that Atlantis was a real place with incredibly advanced technology, powered by massive energy crystals. He predicted that the ruins of Atlantis would be discovered near Bimini, an island in the Bahamas right in the middle of the triangle. In 1968, a discovery was made that seemed to confirm his prophecy: the Bimini Road. It's an underwater rock formation of large, rectangular limestone blocks that look like a man-made wall or road. So, after our expedition through myth, science, and speculation, where do we stand? We've looked at lost patrols, ghost ships, magnetic anomalies, rogue waves, time warps, alien visitors, sunken cities. Scientific explanations like rogue waves and magnetic fields are plausible for many incidents, but they don't account for the high strangeness of cases like Flight 19 or Bruce Gernon's time slip. The more exotic theories, aliens and Atlantis, fill in those gaps, but they require a leap of faith into the unknown, a belief in forces beyond our current understanding. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.